Clementine laughs, scribbles in her notes. Tell me then, why do you still show up? Red flags and roses, you say it always closes. Every story, same old end, but I still believe in beginnings. Red flags and roses, you call it all hypnosis, but you're here week after week, so I'll keep betting on hearts that beat. Clears his throat, says love's a trap. Patterns repeat, they just collapse. She hits pause on his favorite line. And why'd you stay till her last goodbye? Red flags and roses, you say it always closes. Every story, same old end, but I still believe in beginnings. Red flags and roses, you call it all hypnosis, but you're here week after week, so I'll keep betting on hearts that beat. People don't change, that's just the deal. Or maybe they do, but it scares you to feel. Happy is rare, it never lasts long. But here we are singing the same old song. Red flags and roses, you say it always closes. Every story, same old end, but I still believe in beginnings. Red flags and roses, you call it all hypnosis, but you're here week after week. Guess you're still hoping for something sweet. 12-hour screen fading slow. Caesar says goodnight in a softer tone. Clementine smiles, see you next time. Somewhere between us, a little hope climbs.
Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, Caesar. Episode 1 of Red Flags and Roses. You guys ready for a treat? You'll be hearing from Clementine, the Asylum Angel. Yeah, she is my co-host. Imagine that. Me with the co-host. And yeah, tonight's topic is the first move. Who approaches who? Age-old question. Probably why the men in the Stone Age just conk them over the head and take them back to the cave. Just keep it simple. But let me introduce you to Clementine. Say hello to the lovely people.
Hello, everyone. It's Clementine here, and I'm here to put Caesar in his place, correct some of that bad toxic masculinity he's inherited over the years and, been taught. It's never too old to teach an old man new tricks and how he should behave in the wild when it comes to women. That's my job.
That is a very daunting task, but I do believe that I'm acting the way I'm supposed to act. A man. Just doing manly things.
Right.
Saying them too.
But the important thing is
Mm.
to make sure you're a man and not a boy, and the two can get very confusing. And that's why we have started this show, to teach the viewers a little something and get their input on others.
Oh yeah, we love it when our viewers jump in that comment section and give us their opinion, maybe a question, whatever may pop up in that beautiful mind of theirs. Oh, we will enjoy reading it. But how's it for you, Clementine, when you get approached? You know what I mean? See some scraggly vagabond just approach you, asking you out on a date, a cup of coffee. What
Well,
runs through that mind?
depends on their approach, whether or not they approach you with respect first and foremost. Some guys approach you and decide that, you should give them their time to take it. However, it's all about coming in, being humble, starting off maybe with a compliment, and then if they like your number, they may ask for it. But whether or not you're interested, how they react is important. So let's say I say yes and they take it down, great. However, say no, whether or not would even reconsider it is all about how they react. Whether they react in a bad way, you're ugly anyways, or you're not all that, or come
Hmm.
on, give me your number. Like, "Oh, you have a boyfriend, he doesn't let you have friends." No one likes that. No one is changing their mind after those arguments. So I think it's all about approach. And my advice would be to start maybe with a compliment, Let's say I was to approach you, Caesar. Say Caesar's a woman, a very pretty woman. And let's say I approach him and I go, "Hi, I hope you don't mind. I don't want to be rude or interrupt your day, but I think you're very beautiful." And maybe I'll say thank you. Or maybe he will
Hmm.
follow up and say, "Could I have your number by chance?" And let's say I say no. Let's say I say no. The correct response is, "Okay, sorry to bother you. Have a nice day." And that can be the end. But a lot of guys'
Well, what if I
problems
was
is
to
that
hit you with
they
this approach? I'm sorry to
go,
interject, but what if I was to hit you with this approach, where it's like
"Mhm,
I'm sorry, but if I don't get your number, my heart might just stop because there's such an angel in front of me. I just gotta get to know you. Please give me your number. Or what if you just can't help yourself? You ever had that kind of situation where somebody just asks you for your number, you're like, yes, please,
nope,
take my
never,
number. No, no.
never," because
You gotta live a
no.
little. You
Nah,
gotta
if
live a
I
little. 'Cause
wanted to give my number to someone that asked, I just give it to them. Like I'm saying, if like girl says yes and gives you a number, that's great. There's no discussion to be made. Then you carry on step two of all that. But it's all about honestly, it's all about how you carry the rejection that really is a testament to your character. That's what it is. And honestly, if you told me that your heart would break, I'd say, "What do you want my number for? It sounds like you need 911." That's what I'd say.
Well, then I'll just reply that it's because I need your number because you're the EMT that stole my heart. But I guess that's neither here nor there right now, since we're
I
speaking in
Caesar.
hypothetical.
Listen, you can't just keep using those old tricks and pickup lines, all right? This is the new age. It's 2026, right, not the 60s.
Hmm. It's
Hmm.
2026. We're kind of close to the 60s. What's old's becoming new again. I mean, because like the
So,
whole the whole fear of rejection, or getting signals confused. I think there's a correlation there. Because
well,
it's like,
it depends on what signal we're talking about. Like you have to be when it comes to signals, you have to be at least at least 50% sure. You can be 60, 70, 80, 90, 99.9, but you need to at least be 50% sure there's a chance. Because if it's a stranger and maybe you're at a bar and she's looking at you, just looking, maybe she's looking, oh, that'll lead you to think she only wants you to come over and maybe chat her up. If you're around a bunch of dudes and you're not sure who she's looking at, maybe separate yourself from the group and see if her eyes follow you. Sometimes signals don't mean what you think they mean, but there's surefire ways of testing those signals without making her uncomfortable or putting yourself in a creepy position.
perhaps, because
Mine?
yeah,
My apologies. I'm not sure what to do about that. I'm like super close to the mic right now.
That's yeah, that's better right there. Hopefully it stays
Better
that
like
way.
this?
Yes.
All right. My apologies, guys.
Oh, that's what, yeah, I mean, technology these days. It's almost to me. It's like technology is like a woman. You never know when the reliability is going
Oh
to start coming and
boy.
going. But to
That's
get back on the
don't even
topic,
go ahead.
I know, but it's like with the whole what we're talking about with the fear of rejection and the signals, and you did give some great tips. Separate yourself from the herd to see if their wandering gaze follows you. But
Thanks.
that wandering gaze, when you separate yourself, could it be? Do you think that would be a legitimate invitation to just approach, or is it like more of a surveillance mode for in a woman's perspective when they're just observing?
Like I said, there are ways to test without being creepy. So let's say
No,
she's looking at you. No,
mhm.
wait. Let me say. Let's say she's looking at you or smiling or she's doing that bashful look at you, then look away. And I said, maybe separate yourself, see if her eyes follow you. And let's say they do, and she smiles at you, perhaps, or does another bashful look away. Maybe she's shy. You do have a green light to approach her. Now, this is would be step two of sort of like step two of maybe initiating something. You go up to her and then you maybe introduce yourself. And that's where you look at her again, see her body language. Is she facing you? Is she happy that you came over? Is she looking over back at your herd? And like maybe she's thinking, not this one, this isn't the one I wanted. You can tell if you look at her social cues, you know? And this is,
Yes.
you're still in the safe zone. You're still in the safe zone, but also you're still in a zone where you should be paying attention to how she's behaving. And you can
Hmm.
easily maybe drop a little, I think you're nice, I think you're pretty, drum up a conversation and see where it goes. But as long as you are being super respectful, there shouldn't be a problem.
Perhaps, but like with the eye contact thing, you know,
Hmm.
just a woman, you catch her looking at you. Is that an automatic green light to approach, or like I was saying before, is that something women do in an observation mode, like they're observing you, seeing if they even deciding in their mind if they want you to approach them? Because I had some mixed signals in my time
Yeah, that is
where
possible. That is possible.
it's like I remember a woman did all that. She would look at me, she said hi, gave me her name. I introduced ourselves. But then when it came
Hmm.
down to actually asking her, like, would you like to go out on a date? It was just a no. It's like, wow. Like, you took the time to look at me, to remember me. It's like there's millions of things people could forget every day, but in her mind, my face wasn't one of them. And then, introduce herself. But then once the initiation of asking happened, it was a complete 360. It really bewildered me. It's like, wow, like, is she like got kind of slow? You know what I mean? It's like you're checking me out, introducing yourself. Like, I mean, geez, like I really had to know your name. Like, wow. Hmm. But it's just really confusing. So to me, it's just like I don't know. Like I said, I think she might be a little slow. Couldn't like if she like checked it out and it was like, ooh, yeesh, I might need to back away from this one. Those mixed signals can be confusing. It's just like, damn, you know, remembers my name, my face, but no date. Mm. Maybe for other reasons, and she was smiling. We had small talk. Yeah, it was just weird. But why do you think mixed signals happen? Like, I guess from my perspective on it is maybe when you see people regularly, there that genuine kindness can come out, and what I mistook interest, her just being polite, being nice, wanting to put a name to the face. You think that could be it?
It could be. Sometimes we can start talking to someone, and then at some point lose interest. And as hard as it is to, I guess, come to terms with it, or be okay with that, someone losing interest in you, it does happen. And honestly, it's better that they don't let things get too far rather than let things grow and let people catch larger feelings, than just sort
Mm-hmm.
of making it clear you've lost interest a little bit. And sometimes you can tell even from how they behave, because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times with people, especially with social media these days and texting and that constant like opening of communication, it can be
Mm-hmm.
easy to lose interest, and it can also be easy to ghost. It can be easy to definitely see when someone's losing interest from your end. If you're always having to start conversations, if you're always having to be the one that makes plans, if you're always having to be the one that, wants to get through a fight or a disagreement or argument, then it's all one-sided and that person is clearly losing interest. So maybe she was just being nice and didn't intend to do anything more. Maybe she was interested but kind of lost interest. You never know what's going on in someone else's head, and it's hard. And that's why the direct approach is much better, because mixed signals, they don't just happen. There are factors from both ends that can um, you know, contribute, because maybe they're being clear and you're just being so delusional that you want them to want you. So you're making up all these excuses for them and their behavior. Or maybe they're just stringing you along and breadcrumbing you, and you're just, giving into it because you just want someone to want you that bad. People want to be in a relationship so bad, they will
Mm-hmm.
happily be one in a one-sided relationship.
Yeah, that's scary. But you know what I got from that? That women have short attention spans. Mm.
I don't think it comes down to
Humana,
a women,
humana.
a male or female thing. It's definitely, I feel like women historically have been made to lower their standards so much and so often that sometimes they will settle and stay with the guy. They'll even marry a guy simply because he's nice and he doesn't hit me and he hasn't cheated on me, but he has a bunch of other little things that build up over time that really make my life harder or make it hard to be with him. Women have historically have been told to settle, So I wouldn't say it's a male or female thing. Men, don't get me started.
You
Don't
touched
get
on
me
something
started.
important there. You really did touch on something important there. Like,
Mm.
you know, the man, you know, eh, why is it considered settling for less when the man is nice, can provide? Why would some women consider that, settling, when in reality you'd think they would consider it finding a viable mate?
That's not that's not exactly what I'm saying. I mean, that's not settling in the way that I mean. I mean, when they settle for much less, they settle for the bare minimum. They settle for the lowest bar. Like, okay, let's say she wants, this guy he's nice, so he's not mean. He listens, and he's nice, he listens, he has a job, he doesn't hit her, doesn't cheat, you know. Those are like the things that all women would look for in a man. However, that's also the bare minimum. He listens to you. He should listen to you. We should all be
How
listening
is
to each
that? How is
other.
that their bare minimum? That's like talking out of both sides of your mouth. Sorry to cut you off, but I mean, if all women want that out of a man, then what is there left? I mean, shouldn't a man be nice, caring,
Yeah,
supportive?
yes,
So
yes.
if that man is that, then how is the woman settling for less? I don't get that.
It's
Like, are
not
you trying to say that the man may not look handsome enough when paired
no.
next to the woman, so it kind of cancels it out, and as the old cliche goes, like, "Oh, honey, she could have done so much better, but she settled for less." To me, it sounds like women
No.
don't know what they want, because if women want nice guys that can provide, then what's left?
So in the terms of like, let's say there's an older woman who says what you said, that quote, "Oh, she could have done better, but she settled for less." Usually, when someone says that and that bitchy of a tone, they're not talking about, "Oh, she could have had someone." They're talking about like, "Oh, she could have had this multimillionaire doctor, but she settled for the blue collar worker." That's what they mean, and that's like an exaggerated term. What I'm talking about, what the average woman means, is whenever I say listening and being nice and having a job are the bare minimum, I mean it's the same as saying I just want someone who's breathing, whose heart is beating. It's like, of course you want someone alive, like, yeah, that's also the bare minimum. Women shouldn't have to settle for someone who does the bare minimum. And it's not to say they have too high a standards, because a lot of women, their standards are not that high. It's just that we've been conditioned, movies and media and like stories, we've been taught to like, if he doesn't hit you, if he doesn't cheat on you, like those are gold stars. But it's like, of course, like, why would he hit you or cheat on you? That's the bare minimum. Like, yeah, but he also doesn't help you with the dishes or help you with the kids. He also goes straight to his room whenever he gets home from work, even though you also work. Why are you cooking and going to work and taking care of the kids, picking them up, but he's not even helping with half that? Like, yeah, he works, but he'd have to work even if he didn't have a wife and kids, because he'd have to work to support himself. So he goes
Hmm.
to work, comes home, and watches TV like he would if he didn't have a wife and children. So what is he sacrificing? What's so hard about his day where he can't do half of what you do? That's what I'm saying. It's like, but like, at least he
Hmm.
doesn't hit her. At least he doesn't cheat on her. That's what I mean by settling for the bare minimum. Like, women will stay with a man who makes her life so much harder because he doesn't contribute, but just because he doesn't hit her or cheat on her, she has to stay. Like, there's no, like, those are the only two good reasons to divorce a man, you know? Like, but like, if you want to divorce a man because he's not helping you, he's actively making your life harder and he's making you feel like a single parent, that's a good enough reason to divorce. Like, and he's not gonna like change. That's a good enough reason. He doesn't have to hit you or cheat on you for you to divorce him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, when I say the bar is very, very low, that's what I mean. And not to say that women are angels and can never do any wrong. It goes both ways for me. But historically, women made to settle for much less. They're told, especially because of they're going around per man, because you
You,
time's a ticking, sweetheart. Have kids now. And it's happening, like, they're telling, younger and younger, girls straight out of high school, in high school. Don't get me started on that double standard, but yeah. So I just feel like when it comes to settling, there's a lot of different meanings for that. Got me
well,
going
see,
off
that's
on
the
a
thing.
long tangent. Jeez.
There's, I guess to me, this sounds so negative from
It does. It
the
does.
man's perspective, because it's like not every single person is raised the same. You know,
Hmm.
a woman finding a good man that doesn't do that, you think that wouldn't be considered the bare minimum, that it would be considered the norm,
Yeah.
and those qualities would be uh, more appreciated, I guess you can say. More appreciated, to where if a woman or man, does say that about somebody else, then it wouldn't hold that same power in society, I guess you can say. Because there's some wackiness to that, you know. There really is
Hmm.
when you think about it.
There are a
that'd
lot
be the
of
because when you think about like the bare minimum, like why can't that be enough? You know, why can't that
because
be enough? The bare minimum, and then with like with the examples you've given with men that they're married, they don't help out with the kids, they just isolate themselves when they get home from work. To me, you would think uh, actions like that would be brought up more, used as an example of why a woman shouldn't settle for less.
you shouldn't.
To settle for the bare minimum of the guy that would love her, care for her.
Regardless of men and women, honestly, both sides will happily ignore red flags just to be happy for a little while. And they
That's
can
true.
start as early as honestly, they can start as early as the first meeting.
That's true. That's true. Both men and women can ignore red flags just for that feeling of happiness, the masquerade of it, because they're willing to ignore so many signs that, upon retrospect, they're like, "Oof, I should have fucking backed away from that one a long time ago." Hmm. Hmm. Dude, we did divert a little bit from that.
We tend
And I,
to.
I, I I heard that, and this is like, I got to chime in on that. But back with the approach to kind of finish that one off. It's because we did touch a little bit about the like how friendliness and smiling, being cordial, like how sometimes for people it can be a mixed signal, and that kind of shit happens. But what about for red flags on the first approach? Would you like me to take that one first, or do you want to?
I'll take it. Pushing. I feel like you should never be overly sexual. You should definitely, like I said, you should be paying attention to body language. You should be like the setting. Unless you're meeting at a swingers party or something, your approach should not be, you know, sexual innuendos or anything like that. You should be be paying attention to how she's reacting to your words. Because honestly, if you look at how she's standing, like if she's facing you, if she's fiddling with something, or if she's like on her phone, completely disinterested from what you're saying, or looking around for either someone better or some like one of her friends to come and save her from talking to you, that should let you know right there that she is or is not interested. And if she's not,
Hmm.
just walk away. Like if you can't handle rejection, just like walk away mid sentence, just leave it there. There is nothing more attractive like to save you from, embarrassing yourself or embarrassing another person just than just like leaving gracefully. Just I'm sorry to bother you. Have a good night. That's it. Like she will honestly walk away from that feeling like she might just second guess herself because of how gentlemanly you were when accepting rejection. Because had you
Okay.
been an ass, she'd be like, "Thank God I dodged a bullet there." But if you're kind and she's a kind person, she might be like, "No problem," or she might be like, "Actually, wait a minute. You seem kind of nice. Tell me about yourself." Maybe, like don't burn a bridge. Don't burn bridges unless they're, asking to be burned. But if she's nice, then happily, walk away gracefully. If she's like trying to publicly humiliate you by rejecting you loudly, and being rude, then yeah, fuck her.
I I'm glad you touched on that because there's women out there that play games. It's like they're playing hard to get, and they want to string you along, and then bam, just rejection after rejection. It's like, you know what? I don't feel like being like Joe Biden, pursuing Jill Biden, asking her to marry him like fucking 10 times. Like, it's like that guy didn't know what rejection was, unfortunately. But to get back on topic with the for me, red flags with the when approaching, you would think like what that lady that I was talking about did, all the mixed signals. But that's my
The
ego
one that got
talking.
away.
Real red flags, in my opinion, would be like after the whole asking and you're talking, we have body language, our whether we are aware of it or not. Sometimes it's like we're asked something, it's like in our mind, it's like we're turned off by it, so it's just like you know get more standoffish. And some people just don't read body language. I don't know, it seems weird. It's like I said, there's a lot of things with just the body language itself that could be really revealing. But I like to test something with you.
Mm.
Since we did the regular approach, let me give you a red flag approach, and maybe you
Oh,
can explain to the audience why it's a red flag.
yes.
Give me a moment. I'm older, so I don't come with it like that anymore. But
Yeah.
it's like you know, I guess you can say maybe a creepy one that you can really opine on would be, I've been looking at you brown eyes from across the room, and I'm just deeply captivated by them. And I was wondering if I can stare at them through a candlelight dinner. How creepy is
Oh,
that for you?
goodness. I mean, a little intense for first meeting. I prefer, let's say, okay, so let me tell you like some roses about how I prefer, how I prefer an approach. An approach,
What?
opening
Excuse me,
approach.
Clementine. Excuse me. No, with what I just said, how about the red flags associated with that
I
approach?
know, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Relax. So, as I was saying, the first approach, a good way, it should almost be like a flirty job interview. You understand what I'm saying? So, you started off way too intense. You came in almost as if you already had the job and had been working there for years. Like, slow down, dude. You
Mm.
just met me and you're talking about my brown eyes. You can slip in, a compliment about my brown eyes after an introduction, or but you came in too hot too fast. I don't even know your name. You could be a serial killer. You're kind of sounding like one. You understand what I'm saying, where I'm coming from?
Maybe it was the candlelight part, where I like to gaze at your eyes through candlelight. That I kind of get that. Okay, okay,
I
and
personally,
so
I think,
go ahead, go ahead.
sorry, I think now that I think about it, I don't think you should comment on any part of her body at all. Now that I think about it, because when I think about what you could compliment
Hmm.
instead, hands feel creepy, eyes feel creepy, nose feels creepy. If you've not complimented her hair, she probably think you're gay, but feel creepy her outfit. No, unless it's a costume kind of thing where she's, dressed on theme and really good and like really well dressed. You're complimenting her about that. Like not her feet, not her lips, not her ears, nothing. I feel like you shouldn't even involve her body at all. I feel like that's a red flag a little bit. Because it's like, yeah, she looks
So,
good, she looks great. I don't think you should compliment
mhm.
on any part of her body, you know?
So saying she has a pretty mouth would be a red flag.
Ah, yes, be such a red flag, and you know this, Caesar.
But see, what I don't understand is if all that is considered a red flag. Like, what am I supposed to compliment her on? Her personality? Mm.
You
Like,
could if you maybe
yeah, but like,
if
can I
you know
hold it
her a
like a
little bit.
hand? What if I notice her hands are like appear silky soft? And I
So
told her it's
my
like I would love to be able to,
ugh,
hold your hand as we walk down the pier. You know what I mean?
Please
It's
stop.
like I'm telling her something that from the heart, and she wants to take it creepy. I'm not telling her like I want to cut your hand off and stick it in a silk bag and then walk down the beach on a moonlit night. No, I want it attached. I want to feel a pulse. But it's like
Oh
if
no.
complimenting a woman on her features, oh, it could be considered a red flag. And don't you think at the same time that possibly like pointing out things that either you'd have to be around all the time to notice or looking from afar could also come off kind of red flaggish?
Okay. Okay, so what I would say to compliment her on, because you're in a rabbit hole, I would say saying that she's beautiful, saying that she's pretty, saying that she looks lovely. Those are all general terms that could be about her personality, it could be about just her vibe, it could be about her aura or how she's carrying herself. They're not necessarily zoned in on one specific part of her body that almost feels like a little bit of a fetishization. Like if you start in on her eyes, it feels like you're really zoned, like you want to cut them out of her head, like you're just attracted to the eyes. Like you could give a shit if she was
Mm.
attached to them or not. That's what it feels like. If you say something about her hands, her lips, her feet, her ears, her elbows, it comes off as like now she's looking at her elbows weird and looking at you weird and like, what do you mean? That's kind of like you're so zoned in on one part of her body that you're sort of it's making her psychoanalyze that part of her own body in a way, you know? So I feel like
Yeah, but just
beautiful, lovely is like a
mhm.
nice general term that, makes her feel like you're not zoned in on her body parts and more so a vibe she's giving off. Like her look as a whole that she probably spent hours to put together. You know what I mean?
I do, but I guess part of me feels that like when you call a woman beautiful, that she looks lovely, that you're still admiring the physical form, which includes
In
the
a
eyes,
way,
the ears, the mouth, the butt, the breast, the hands, the elbows. It
we
encompasses
get it.
everything.
We get it.
So yeah, but you can't have it both ways. Like if I was to
But I
call you
mean,
beautiful,
you
and
can.
then you felt creeped out by it in the situation that I lovely illustrated for you in the audience at home. But then I was to
I think that
say, you have a pretty mouth. Now, see,
stop.
saying you have a pretty mouth, what if it's the right shade of lipstick that catches my eye and I find that really pretty? Why does it automatically go to sexual innuendos for some women?
Because
Why can't
unfortunately,
it
that's what.
just be a
Okay, so wait.
pretty mouth? And I know it has what I'm using is questionable. It has been used in other ways, but I'm just saying you're using the words "you have a pretty mouth." You know what I mean?
Okay,
It's like if you have
I
beautiful eyes,
I know where the disconnect is coming from.
mhm.
The disconnect we have is that okay, beautiful, lovely, pretty. That's a generalized term. Okay, so you're talking about her whole body. You're not zoning on one thing. And the reason why I'm saying you need to start with a generalized term is because we are talking about first approach. Now, once you've
Mhm.
been talking to her for, let's say, 5 minutes, you know, then you can compliment her eyes. Then you
Whoa.
can say you have, and you like, let's say you guys go for a walk after you've been talking for 5 minutes and you hold her hand. Then you can compliment her hand because you've been talking to her for long enough for you to really look at her and for her to like know you've been looking at her, I guess, and not just like leering from a corner. That you pointing out her eyes and how pretty they are doesn't seem too fast, too forward, and too weird. So you get what I'm saying? So
Th-
first step
Yeah, there's a
is
time limit.
general.
There's a time
Exactly,
limit. It's like
exactly.
I
Everyone,
gotta
we're
time
connecting
myself.
right now.
So
Everyone,
it's like
we
right
have
now.
he's getting
Yeah,
it,
like
everyone.
I gotta, time it. So as soon as I see them, I gotta hit the stopwatch and wait for 5 minutes, and then I'm able to appropriately say like, it does that mouth feel as pretty as it looks?
Oh my
and not be
God.
a creep.
Stop. Ew. Yes. Okay. Should the situation call for it? If you guys are meeting in like a very sensual setting, if you are meeting at a swingers party, you're meeting at a lush, lavish nightclub, and you're drinking and like the blood's pumping, maybe then you may mention her mouth because maybe she might be into it. Should the setting call for it? But if you're meeting and like let's say in the daylight, you can say you're very beautiful, you're very pretty, and maybe 5 minutes later, after talking to her face to face for so long, you can say she has pretty eyes. And then maybe if you guys hold hands 5 minutes later, you can say she has nice hands. They're very soft, very, delicate. You like her hands. But
Hmm.
no, I feel like at no point in that daytime setting, let's say the daytime setting, coffee shop, library, grocery store, little daytime mixer, should you tell her she has a pretty mouth? Because I'm so sorry, but we all know, how we all know the context, the innuendo that pretty mouth, you know, implies, and you
Hmm.
can you can feel the like the tension. You wouldn't say, and also you wouldn't say mouth. You would say maybe lips, if anything, because mouth implies the inside of the
Well,
mouth, and
you mean
that
the
leads
lips
to
around the mouth?
more. Exactly,
Yeah,
but
I mean
but you're
it's a
not
package
talking about
deal.
when you exactly, but like when you say that, oh, she has nice legs, you're not talking about her kneecaps or the tissue inside it or the muscles or her calves. You're talking about her leg, the pretty sculpted legs as a whole on the outside. What
Hmm.
we all mean conventionally. I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
and lips are on the outside. Like I said, it could just be the that lovely shade of lipstick that just caught my eye.
Exactly. And should
And
the
that's why I want to say
setting
she has a pretty mouth because it looks pretty. Doesn't mean I want to go, park in my car in that garage. It's just,
That's enough from
a
you.
pretty mouth, lady. But yeah,
That's
it is because right now we have I guess the sexist in me really just wants to take this on first.
I
Do
okay,
you
go.
think that there should still, have traditional
No.
let me reword. I butchered it like a dumbass. When it comes to making the first move, do you think men should still make the first move, or do you think it should just go either way? Like the woman can make the first move.
Yes.
Hmm. Okay. Let's elaborate on that. Unpack.
I feel like it doesn't matter who makes the first move. Sometimes people can be shy. And that's the thing. Like, if you have the confidence to make the first move, then why shouldn't you? Because that's what it's really all about. If you notice that you guys may vibe or you're interested, then why shouldn't you make the first move? I'm not like life's too short for you to stand around waiting for the other person to get up the call.
No, I'm sorry, honey. I'm sexist. I gotta approach you, and you gotta listen to my corny pickup lines, or this ain't gonna work good.
Well, are you
That's
only
just
saying that because you've never been
I'm a
approached by a
traditional
woman?
sexist. I have. I have in my illustrious career. You know.
Mm,
Yeah. Can't name any names.
okay, because you
the
can't think of them.
well, no, innocent to remain anonymous. Yeah,
Yeah, for her sake.
innocent. No, for mine because you never tell these
Sure,
days. Sometimes
sure,
it's
sure.
but I guess after hearing that, part of me really thinks that I guess I'm just a traditionalist. I believe like as the man with toxic masculinity on the panel, and you able to match it so well with your toxic femininity that I think men should stick with the approach. And women should just be, I guess, more straightforward. You'd be like, "Thank you, but I'm sorry, I'm not interested. Don't come again." Just like leave it cut dry like that. Not like lead somebody on and make them think they have a chance when they really don't. waste
Well,
their
sometimes it's
time.
not that easy. Some dudes can simply not take no for an answer. And as nice as a girl can be, rejection alone is humiliating enough for them to lash out. And believe me, I've been asked out a few times and I say, no thanks. Or sometimes I might lie and say I have a boyfriend or something, and they're like, oh, he doesn't let you have friends, or he doesn't have to know. And sometimes they might say, okay, sorry, but just no, as no is a complete sentence that some people just do not agree with. It's not always on the woman. Sometimes a woman can be women have died because they've said no. Simply just cut and dry. They said no thanks, and they wouldn't budge when a man wanted more, and they and they got hurt because of it. It's not
Yeah,
always cut and
and
dry when it comes to that.
men have died too because a woman wanted more than what she should have, and the man got killed for it. It happens
While
both
that's
ways.
true, it's been definitely more women than men.
Oh, you
Statistically,
can't say it's
historically.
more. No, because like for example, a woman cheats
Mm,
on her husband back in the day.
mhm,
Generally, what
mhm,
would happen is first the guy would get slapped, they'll have a duel, and then if the
mhm.
husband won, then the wife generally, either got hung, uh, chased out of the community. To me, it's kind of fair.
And
Like
who
the
set that
whole,
system up, though?
it's fair. It's fair.
And who set that system up? Then what are we talking about? If you think it's fair, then what are you complaining about?
Society set that up back then. Because we definitely,
Yeah,
I can't go
men
out,
set that up. Men have been in
being
charge
able to.
for everything for the longest, and all
No,
this patriarchy bullshit.
if
Yes,
if men
totally.
have been in charge this whole time, then why is it that women prefer monogamy in marriage? Like, why would a man want to tie himself down to one woman willfully when he can become a Mormon and have a whole harem?
First of all, monogamy isn't a gendered thing. So some women don't want just one husband, but society has made it like a lot of religions, a lot of male-led religions, mind you, say that a woman can have like can only have one husband, while a husband can have many wives. Like the whole sister wife thing is very like I can't
So
even
why
get
would a
into
man
that.
write up through religion that the man has to stay with one woman?
That's not the case for a lot
That's
of
kind of
religions.
that's kind of like a man, like we're just shooting ourselves in the foot.
Like I said, that's not women didn't women didn't start that. And that someone started that because they
No,
realized having your own wife
women
wasn't an
had a hand in
option.
it. Women had a hand in it because at the end of the day, you know, you you can't just say it was all like the male patriarchy or the feminine patriarchy. No, because if it was
Make
a
me
complete man,
matriarch.
if it was a complete male dominant thing, then why would a man tell another man he has to be stuck with one woman the rest of his life?
Because men would only listen to men because women's opinions are pointless. They're delusional. They're crazy. They need to be carted off to the asylum and lobotomized. That's why. Women only
But
have as much of a hand. No, women only would have as much of a hand in it as the man allowed her to have. Like, oh, please.
no, I mean, no, no, because men and women both have been killed for their things by their
Yes.
spouses. I mean, hell,
Yeah.
there was a guy that had his dick chopped off by a woman. I mean, when was the
Agreed.
last time
Yeah.
you ever heard of a woman getting her clit burned off or cut off?
Very often
You
it
you
happens a lot in a
you
lot of different.
usually
And
hear about that in third world countries.
yeah,
Not
and why
places
is
that
that? Why
have
can't the woman get? Yeah, because they don't want her to get pleasure because some people assume that if a woman has pleasures, she'll stray or whatever. Like a woman, can't have, she can't have her pleasure and still be of right mind. Like she has to be, humble and submissive and this, that, and the third. Like there are bad men and there are there are bad men and there are bad women for sure.
mad
I
and bad
agree.
women. Hmm.
mad and bad
Mad and bad.
women, and
Mad and
mad
bad
and bad
women.
men,
No,
and
just
mad and
bad
bad
men,
he,
but there's
she's,
mad
theys, and
and
in
bad women.
betweens. However,
Mm.
since the beginning of time, since the men have been in charge of the whole shebang, like, sorry, they have more female blood on their hands than women have more male blood on theirs. Sorry. Sorry,
Not
man.
really.
Sorry about
Not
it.
really, because there's been women royalty. The Queen of Sheba out of yeah, down in I believe oh fuck, what is it? Not Kenya, Ethiopia. Out of Ethiopia. Then you had Cleopatra with the Egyptians. The most recent would be the late Queen Elizabeth. And I believe she took power in the 1920s. You know, and when you really get down to the bare facts of it, who gave the women the right to vote in America? It was men.
Yeah, and women had
So
to
if it
fight
was
for
such
it.
a
Who
top,
kept them?
no,
Who
no,
kept them from
but
voting in
if
the
women
first
had to
place?
fight
Who
for
set
it,
that
then why would
system
women
up,
give it to
Caesar?
them?
Please. If this is the sexist and you
Well,
being
you're
antagonistic.
ignoring you're
You
ignoring
act
the
like
you're ignoring the point that you had women in power that completely ignored any kind of changes they could have done for their fellow females.
as I
They were
said, there are
willing to
bad
allow
men
for the
and
status
bad
quo.
women.
It doesn't. The bad men and women thing. It only goes so far. No, these were people in power, women in power. In instances, like the way you make it sound is like it never happened before until modern times.
No,
But no, there are
no.
historical instances from beginning of time. Women having power, and what do the women do? What changes have women made to the power structure throughout time? You know, when they had the ability to change it, nothing. Nothing, because women were comfortable. Women were comfortable.
And that
And I
comes
really
down
want to
to a
know
people thing, not a gender thing.
why women are comfortable with the status quo. You know, it's not good enough just to have a good man that doesn't beat you. Now he's got to be like 6 foot with the six pack and a six-figure salary to take care of all the kiddies. Mm.
No one's saying that.
Oh, you'd be surprised. You'd be really
There are women
surprised.
that want that, and if they want that, that's also that. Don't get me
Yeah,
started
but
on
they
that.
want
I
that on a
actually don't want
McDonald's
to take.
diet. On a McDonald's diet,
I
they're
don't want
coming
to.
out looking like Foodie Beauty, and they want somebody looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's like, honey, that guy's got plenty of weights to push. He doesn't need a skin bag that's bigger than a hefty bag. Mm, that is wild. That is wild. But see, ladies and gentlemen, this is what you get here at Red Flags and Roses. You never know what crazy takes we're going to have, what direction we're going to go. Me and Clementine here. This is like our normal Wednesday afternoon. This is what we talk about, me and her. These tough, pressing issues. But now we're doing it late night, just for you.
Someone needs
I
their someone needs their nighttime medication,
I
a
might
good diaper,
I
and a
might.
nap.
Oh, I don't need no diaper. That's crazy talk coming from me, Clementine. But I think right now what we need, since it's going up on the first hour, I think we need a 2-minute break. So I can give my medicine.
I mean, yeah, I understand you're probably
Jose,
really
how do you
tuckered
feel
out.
about that, my
All,
man? Because yeah,
all that
Jose's in the
yelling and
back.
nonsense.
Gamer's just chilling. I think he's gaming tough right now. So yeah, I think we're gonna go on that 2-minute break.
Hearts are rusted, chain locked tight in the abyss. Souls are shattered, mirror every shard screams miss. Concrete veins pumping cold through the mist. Breath tastes of tombstones, death blows a kiss. Every corner's dark, no candles, just black. Hopes are face, now it's laughing in the back. Fingers grip the void, pulling nothing but cracks. World's a painted smile, I'm the smear in the tracks. Dead inside, can't hide, I'm hollow. Screaming at the sun, but the light won't follow. No escape, just a shadow to swallow. Dead inside, just a ghost on borrowed tomorrows. Eyes burn red, suck it's dry as drought. Tears traded for the ink, but the pen ran out. Face a broken bridge, can't walk that route. Prayers turn to echo, silence drowns the shout. Every night's a battle with the weight of the pitch. Dreams sold for pennies, nightmares getting rich. Minds a crooked creature, spitting venom in the ditch. Heart's a frozen clock, no tick, no twitch. Dead inside, can't hide, I'm hollow. Screaming at the sun, but the light won't follow. No escape, just a shadow to swallow. Dead inside, just a ghost on borrowed tomorrows. We are going all gas and no brakes, no more Mr. Nice Guy, motherfucker! Havoc in the headphones! Who's on the line? Sharpened every take, turn the asylum into a blaze. Hey! This is the asylum, welcome to the wild run. Turn it up till your doubt comes undone. We were heavy, now we're breaking the cage. Every joke, every rap, it's like a tidal wave. We are going all gas and no brakes.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Red Flags and Roses with me and my partner in crime, Clementine. Mm. Yeah, things have been.
Hello, everyone.
Mm. Yeah, we had a pretty good damn first hour. Mm.
You
I
think
mean,
so?
oh, the things we talked about. Mm. We really did, but I guess for coming back fresh. Let's tackle the double standards of dating or in dating,
Sure,
I
you're
should
gonna
say.
love this.
Excuse me. Yeah. Let's hear it from you, Clementine. Let's
All
hear your hot
right.
take.
All right. My hot takes. Well, I think where we should start is definitely where everyone's head first goes is, who pays on the first date, you know?
Hmm.
And traditionally, the man pays on the first date because the man's supposed to be the provider, and often the man asks
Excuse
the woman
me.
out on the date. So traditionally, the man asks, the man pays. However, wait, give me a minute. I haven't said my actual hot take and opinion. My hot take is one, it's okay and it's perfectly acceptable to go half and half, no matter who asks, you know. And
Okay.
two, sometimes sometimes I do feel like the man should pay depending on depending on the setting. Because from a woman's point of view anyway, more often than not, a woman is putting a lot more effort going into the date, depending on the date. Because a woman, she's either paying or doing herself. She's doing her makeup, her hair, her nails. She may even get a new outfit, may even get new shoes. She's probably shaved her entire body or waxed it slick to get ready for the chance of having sex. And that takes pretty much the whole day. If you tell a woman we're going on a date tonight at 8, 7, she's starting to get ready at like 12 in the afternoon, and the guy, more often than not, he's showering, maybe touching up on his shave, and wearing an outfit he already has in his closet. No offense. No offense
Well,
on that.
men had to buy that
But
outfit,
that's
no different than a woman, right?
sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just wear what they already have, which is fine. However,
But they
that's where
bought
I think
that
the
prior.
mentality is.
Well, to me, that's a double standard right there. Like you're talking about how women do all this stuff. It's like, well, I got fingernails. I got to keep them clean and manicured. I
But
have,
are
you
you
may not be able to tell, but I do have hair back here, and I have to brush it. You know what I mean? I got a beard to brush. Men have things they got to do too. I noticed you didn't mention, but like with the man, we got to brush our teeth. Make sure our breath
Mhm,
is
mhm,
sparkly
mhm.
fresh. And so men have things they got to put into a date too. And the funniest thing that I heard is how you say traditionally it's up to the man to pay for the date. So if it's a
I
male
wasn't saying
patriarchy, why would
I
we shoot
wasn't
ourselves in
saying
the foot to have to pay to go on a date? You know what I mean?
And this
It's
is when I
just
need you to go to
mm,
your bathroom and get some Q-tips to clean out your ears, because I wasn't saying that a man should pay because it's tradition. I was simply stating the tradition
men
that has
traditionally pay.
has begun. I was just stating what the norm is before I told you my hot take about it. So I was not saying a man should pay because it's tradition. I was simply saying traditionally the man does pay.
But it
However,
contradicts
also
your theory on the male patriarchy, because if
it
men were
doesn't
in
contradict
charge,
it.
why well, I guess you can say if I was a man in charge of all this and made all the rules, I'd be making the women pay to go on the first date with the man, because
And
the
that's
men
where it
shouldn't
all
have to pay.
starts. Because
Well, no,
it's the patriarchy.
then
Men
why?
are always seen as the providers because women weren't allowed to even have bank accounts. That's why the men had to provide. That's why women had to marry,
Yeah, because
because they
women couldn't
needed to
count.
marry for money. They needed to marry to keep their place. They didn't need to marry to get a home. that the man basically owns for long. That's where it all comes from, is the patriarchy. Women would have loved to be able to have their own money, to save their own money, to get their own place, but the men kept them from it. The men are the ones with the money. They're supposed to provide, which is why women couldn't. And that's why it all trickles down to 2026, where the men are expected to pay for dinner. And honestly, it does look a little funny. Like I said, it's nothing wrong with going half and half, but I feel like that's something that should be stated even before the date. Because if you spring it on a girl, no matter who she is, that, oh, we're going half and half, it's going to seem a little sus. It's going to seem like some kind of a test. And neither men or women, I feel, like to be tested, especially so early or at all. So if you want to go half and half, maybe that should be prefaced beforehand. Or better yet, take her to someplace more affordable. If your money's not like that, then don't take her to some fancy 5-star restaurant. Take her to someplace within your budget, or invite her over and cook for her, maybe. If your money's not like that, don't go off, getting crazy with the food. Stay within your
That
means.
doesn't make sense. That really doesn't make sense because I'm still stuck on the whole, like, the tradition thing. Why would a man want to traditionally shoot himself in the foot by having to pay for a dinner that a woman can pay for, or even to top it off, a woman could cook? Because believe it or not, women, it's not like they were just boom bam given a home. No, they had to live somewhere before marriage, you
Yes,
know.
they lived in their
And
parents' home with the
the
family.
play, not always. Some of them were able to go off on their own. And if you look through history, there were rich women. Like for example, you had women that would be the what's the word? Like the head mistress of a horror house. They made tons
Hmm.
of money, you know. They
But at
didn't have
what
no
cost?
man telling
Exactly.
them.
But at what cost? But at what cost? But
It's
at
not at
what
the cost.
cost?
It's just the simple fact that there's women that had money. If the male patriarchy made it to where women are supposed to be destitute, needing to have a man to pay for everything, then why was there rich women in different points of history, even before the whole
Back to the
feminist movement of the 1960s?
back to the topic at hand, gender roles in dating. Because I can't discuss history with you, especially if you're only going to talk about the parts of history that you want to remember. I'm not gonna sit here and try to explain men's behavior about why they decided that they could not live without a woman, carrying on their legacy to the point where they had to take away their rights and make their only value to society giving birth. I'm not here to I'm not here to debate that, because I truly will not
Ooh.
try to explain the minds of men. I can't and I won't.
Nature did
However, when it
nature
comes
did
to
that for us because only women can get pregnant. So nature kind
and
of,
that's not as big of a blessing as some would think it is. Because if men could give birth, we would happily bless them that opportunity. There's no reason that we would try to keep it to just women. Anyways, when it comes to gender roles in dating, I feel like you should really ask yourself, like, what gender roles are you looking for and why? Really ask why. Like, if you want a wife or a girlfriend that would be a stay-at-home mother, like, ask yourself why you want her to be a stay-at-home mother and why you don't want to be the one to stay home with the children. Like, why do you want, like, the traditional values? Like, why do you want them? Not just because they're tradition, not just because it's how it's always done, but like, why do you want it? Why do you want to be a part of the pattern? Because I feel like that's really important. We must ask ourselves why.
maybe instead of asking why, maybe we should do a review on how we got from A to B.
Let's not. Let's
Because
not.
for example, you have I guess you can say with the another double standard in dating that I kind of notice is just just the whole stereotype of if the man ain't, he does like if he can't afford a nice place to go, to basically make every single date an extravagant, as seen on TV experience, something
Mm-hmm.
reality TV based,
Mm-hmm.
reality TV loosely, then why
Mm-hmm.
do women not see him as somebody that could still be viable in other ways? Like we still may both have to work a job to make ends meet, but it's like, what happened to the love? It's like, yeah, we may be in a shit situation, living in a bunk ass apartment that's too small, but we love each other. Just, just the love right there. It's like there's just too much. Like, oh, you got to meet all these different requirements before we're able to even have a fucking cup of coffee. And it's like for a
I
man, for men, like most of the time, all we're looking for is some woman to be there to hold hands and watch TV, maybe do a little cooking in the kitchen. I can do the grilling. That's why women are in the kitchen and men are out on the barbecue pit. We cook outside so we don't, cause a house fire.
exactly. So
Hmm.
the thing is that unfortunately, instead of love, it's effort. So let's say you don't have to. Not all dates need to be this big extravagant thing. Not every date needs to be at a five-star restaurant, but there needs to be some form or display of effort. It doesn't need to always be on the guy. Maybe a woman can plan a date too, but there needs to be some semblance of effort. Because if you're just going to McDonald's, if you're just going to the drive-through and just sitting in your car, that's not. It can be a date if you both parties are okay with that. But it's like, where's the effort? Like, where? How is she? How does she know? And we're just gonna say she for this instance. How does she know that you're actually like that you actually want to pursue something with her? Like you actually enjoy spending time with her and that you really want to keep her in your life. You're not showing any effort. And it's not to say that love, unfortunately, love is love. Love is good, but love does not put food in your belly. Love does not pay the bills. Love does not keep the heat on. Love does not keep a roof over your head. And not to say the guy needs to be rich, but he needs to at least be working to where he can at least take care of himself. And when it comes to kids, if he's like he should be making enough to take care of himself and the kids, and she should be enough to take care of herself and like her kids, and they should be working together to take care of the whole household. You understand what I'm saying? He shouldn't be just working making money for herself, and nor should she. She should be just be like working and like hoarding her own money. Like we should all be working together to help each other out in the family household.
I can agree
And
with that. It's better to have it as a team effort.
that's what it needs to be. It needs to be a team effort. It needs to be some semblance of, even if like let's say he's a stay at home father, that's perfectly fine and okay. And she's working. Like that is perfectly okay because they're both contributing. It's not the gender role, but if it works for them and they're both satisfied and happy and fulfilled, then that's great. I really don't believe in gender roles personally because like I just feel like gender roles just don't do I feel like gender roles don't do anybody any good. I feel like gender roles just put people in a box. Like, if a man wants to be a stay-at-home father, then let him be with his children. Like, what's wrong with that? If the woman wants to work and she can work, then what's to stop her? Why is her vagina having having a vagina stopping her from going out and doing the work that needs to be done to provide for her family? And if she wants to ask him out, that's perfectly fine. It's all about what works for people and not about what genitalia they have. It's truly not. And again, when it comes to money, sometimes it's better to date within your means. So if you want someone rich, then date someone rich. Don't date some poor guy and make him feel bad for being poor when you can tell that he at least doesn't like he's not dirt poor, but he doesn't have the money that you're looking for. You can tell you can tell after a while. And I feel like it's important to date within your means if that's important to you. If that's one of your standards, one of the things you value, then do that, you know? Like don't make and afford it. But what's more important is like I said, the effort, showing that you care and that like you want this person in your life and not just for a quick good time, like showing her like, hey, I really like you. I don't want anyone else to have you. I don't want you to wake up one day and realize, hey, he doesn't like take me out, not even for like a walk, like a romantic stroll. He doesn't like cook dinner for us. He doesn't even really tell me I'm pretty. Like he just assumes like I'm his girlfriend now and he's here and that should be enough. Like it's one thing to get comfortable, but it's another thing to completely stop caring and taking someone for granted because well, you already have them, so I don't have to show in any way that I care. I care all the time to my loved ones in different
Hmm.
ways. But they know I care, and I'll also show some some form of effort is what I mean.
No, I get you on that. Definitely do. For me, I
Mm,
guess you can say, especially with the way have things have changed in the time that we're in, it's like they just increased the double standards. Because it's not like finances are something new. They've been around for quite a long time, and have
yeah.
been used on both parties involved. Both men and women. And to me, it's just double standards, or I don't know. They really are kicking the ass to society. Because like what you were saying with the stay at home dad, like having a stay at home mom, that's considered the norm. Stay at home dad, that is, it can be looked upon in different lights depending, like, men. Some men might like look at that guy and be like, oh, he's a sissy. He just wants to stay at home and play with the kiddies, have tea time. And as to me, that's just like, like, can't we both, as as a society, can't we just be happy that at least when the kids get home from school, that they have a parent home to greet them, to ask them how their day was, maybe be there to, guide them along in their homework.
Mhm.
It's really, mm, really wild when you think about it. You know what I mean, Clementine? Just, things would be so much easier if we were able just to get rid of those double standards. Especially in dating. Dating would be so much easier.
I totally agree. We've gone from the very first approach all the way to talking about marriage and children.
I
So,
know. We move
how
fast
would
here.
you we
Red
went
flags and
very
roses.
fast. So, if we're going back to the very first, going from marriage and kids all the way back to the first meeting, what are like maybe three things that a woman should do or could do that would pique your interest should she approach you?
I guess for me, what I think most men would be able to benefit from that is directness. Like with
Mhm.
like the woman I asked out on the date, and she said no. Like, great. I know where I stand, and that's it. No more BS. Instead of like playing hard to get, where it's like, oh, maybe next time if you see me, I'll give you my number. It's like, well, why not now? Like, what's gonna change? Like, I might get in some freak accident and get some nasty scar on my face. Then you'd be even less inclined to want to give me a number two. It's like, oh, come on. Mm. And another thing I think women can do is for the star. I don't want to say stubborn, but I guess more for the oblivious type. Is like maybe offer your number. Be like, I would like to give you my number. Whatever you find attractive or things that you've seen that attract you to them. You know, because some men can get a little lost, get a little bewildered. So like
Mhm.
helping us steer us in the right direction instead of like
It's
playing hard
funny
to get.
how you were. It's funny how you were talking about about confidence and about how a man should approach and so on and so forth. But here you are valuing directness and confidence, straightforwardness. Very interesting, very interesting. And
It
I
is.
I
I'm a bit of
know
an introvert myself.
from your past, there was an instance, won't name any names, 'cause I don't know the names, but
Mm,
this particular woman sent someone to basically ask you out for her, and you weren't into that. That didn't do it for you. You told me you would rather her ask you out herself. You didn't want,
hmm
the timid, you wanted someone straightforward, like, to
Well,
tell you, what's what.
I
So
know who you. I
interesting.
recall that situation, and to
Mm-hmm.
break it down, not
Mm-hmm.
just for you, but for our lovely audience out there. For
Mm-hmm.
me, it was like, whoa, like you're gonna send your mom and dad to talk to me? Like, what's gonna happen if we have a disagreement? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna send mommy and daddy to talk it out for you? Like,
Maybe they wanted to make a
no.
trade. Maybe they wanted to make a trade. Maybe they wanted to see what kind of livestock you had to, to purchase her with.
I mean, to make that trade, honey, it's just like, like you, man, I might be able to give you like a calf and a couple hens, but like if you expecting a camel there, dude,
They're trying to get her out of the
not,
house.
yeah, no, I got that, and it's just like, yeah, if I got her in the house, and then let's say, I told her like, honey, the beans you made were kind of bland. Like you didn't put no spices in it. Tastes like it just came right out of the can. And she goes home, and then it's like I got to figure out what's going on, and then it's like her mom or dad comes knocking on the door, and they're like, "Oh, we gotta have a talk, Caesar." Yeah, what she said about her cooking just really hurt her feelings. She's like, "Oh, she could have told me." I mean, hell, I'm not that hard to communicate with. She could have thrown it at me, and I would have, got the hint. Like, maybe I should have picked my words better. Mm. But yeah, it's like that whole like what you brought up, the confidence thing. Now, because I remember I told her before, it's just like toots.
Well, we
Just
see
fucking
everyone.
like,
We see.
just reach out and grab me. Reach out and fucking grab
Hmm.
me. I
See
can do that.
everyone. You see this man. He wants to be grabbed. So we see
Mm-hmm.
he likes direct. So your three things: you like being direct, straightforward, confident. You want her to give you her number and just be like, "Hey, the ball's in your court. See you later." You want her to.
Oh yeah,
I
because if she gave
see.
me her number, I'll be like, I'm gonna call you so you have my number, and then we can meet
Mhm.
up later.
Mhm.
Maybe go out for some sushi,
Some
prime rib.
shuffleboard. Mhm.
Exactly. I've really been wanting to get into curling. I've seen that on the Winter Olympics. Like, man, it's like all that sweeping and throwing a stone on ice. Like, damn, that's like some drunken Nordic game right there that I wouldn't mind getting down playing.
Totally.
Mm. But yeah,
Okay, so we got you. We know what you're into. Audience members, we see what he's into. If you're into that, if you're, let's say, in your, let's say, maybe early mid 30s to mid, and let's say 50s even, maybe he wants an older woman. We'll see. If you're out there, I prefer a woman with a smoker's cough. He's into that. If you got
oh
spider
shit,
veins
Clementine,
and you're on
you're
heavy
gonna
medication,
you're gonna get me in trouble. I just got out of trouble about like a few weeks ago. You can get me in trouble again. Mm,
Hmm.
mm.
The
I
lucky
dodged a
lady,
bullet.
the lucky lady who wants to be, Caesar's main squeeze. If you win our sweepstakes, you can get flown out to his home and you can apply sunscreen to his shoulders while he wades in the kiddie pool.
With the marshmallows. Mm.
With the he
Imagine
will
that, ladies
feed
and
you
gentlemen.
marshmallows that he has rubbed on himself. That's what he'll do.
Hmm. That, or
Mm-hmm.
if you want them fresh out of the package, I can make accommodations there. But let, let's let the audience get to know you. I'm Mr. Big Mouth of the Asylum. They really know
True.
me quite well. But let's give them a little sneak peek of you, Clementine. What are three things that you want?
Me,
Yeah, let's hear
honestly,
you. Yeah.
honestly, I haven't had many positive approaches. More so, I'm the one doing the approaching. Um,
Ooh.
so I'd say someone around me started, like I said, starting off with a compliment, a general compliment, like just being beautiful. That's a great way to start off. And then let's say they wanted my number or to offer me their number. I feel like that's a good way. Let's say you're afraid of rejection. I feel like giving out your number is a good way to go and then just leaving the ball in their court instead of like working, stressing all day trying to craft the perfect text to send to start off the conversation. Let them figure it out. Let them decide if they want you. So that'd be ideal, and just leaving it at that, especially if it's in a public setting. Like if I were in a group of friends, like don't put me on the spot, you know? So
Hmm.
maybe wait, maybe ask to speak to me a little privately so I can step away, just very respectful, very kind, not just nice, but kind,
Mm.
kind, respectful of my time and personal space, kind with your words, and, very confident in what you're leaving on the table, even if I don't pick it up. I think that's important. Kind, respectful, confident. I feel
Kind,
like those are my
respectful, and
main three.
confident. The KRC of Clementine's heart. Kind, respectful, and confident. Mm. I like
Mhm.
that.
So is there anything we can agree on? I think we can both agree on like a universal rule is I feel like maybe we can agree on confidence. It's important to like don't be, just be yourself, be confident and know what you want. Like when if you're going to walk over to somebody, say it with your chest, like you've already
Yeah.
taken the steps to walk over, straighten your back and say what you want to say. And I feel like being respectful of, just being respectful. Like I said, I feel like my main three are pretty good. So be
So
confident,
they are. But
straightforward about
I'd
what
like
you
to.
want.
I would like to for the women out there. You might not want to say it
Mhm.
with your chest because if guys
Or
aren't
maybe they
supposed to
do.
stare at your breast awkwardly, then don't say it with your chest. Just say it. You know, because some women are off put by guys just looking down at their cleavage, and if you say it with your woman saying it with her chest, it's just like putting the boobs in our face. We have
If
nowhere to
she's
look
saying
but
it with
right
if she's saying it with her chest, she wants you to look. She wants you to see what you could have if you take
there.
that phone
Maybe,
number from her and call her.
or her bra like wire might be digging in, and she's trying to you know get things evened out.
Well, if you'd like to look, a subtle glance will suffice. You don't got to stare at him like a deer in headlights.
I like that look though. I really do like that vacant stare where I'm just like got boobies right there adjacent to my vision. Hmm.
Adjacent to your vision.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I know I am, ain't I? Hmm. You know, I guess what would you consider? Mm, when somebody just has no response, where they just go right, like pass you by. Like for example, if I was out there, you know, on a walk and there was a woman that caught my eye, and I tried to get her attention, but she just completely ignores me. Goes, just keeps on going, not
Yep.
taking, not buying what I'm selling.
Hmm.
What do you think of that approach?
I
Like, do you
think
think
that
that that is like a good approach, or maybe something that should be avoided if possible?
should be avoided if possible. If she's not giving you any time of day to even glance in your direction, then she doesn't want you. And why would you want someone that doesn't want you? Like, let her go and take the L. Focus and try someone new. She's already given you your answer without even saying a word, you know? Sometimes
Okay.
rejection does not mean try harder. Sometimes it just means leave me alone. That's an important lesson some people need to learn because a lot of men grew up hearing, "Oh, just keep trying, eventually you'll wear her down." Sometimes just no is no.
But also no response is no too. It can be
It
a
is. If someone's not going to give you the time of day, or let's say they got busy, if they truly got busy, and they did want to talk to you, at some point in the day, they're going to go back to your messages and see, oh crap, I didn't write back. And they will text you back, say, hey, I'm so sorry, I got busy. If you don't get a single text from them or a call all day, then either, or even the next day, then you're truly not on their mind as much as you should be or you want to be. So take that. Stop. You ever heard of that movie, He's Just Not That Into You? It's a very true
yeah.
film, and sometimes that's simply the case. Like, stop deluding yourself or thinking that some people are playing mind games. Some people are telling you exactly what you need to know without saying anything.
Interesting. Interesting. Because yeah, that I mean that does make sense. Just I guess it's just the times we live in where no response is sometimes all the response we need.
Mhm.
Mm.
I'm glad you're learning. I'm glad I can
I'm learning a little bit, just a
give you
little
some
bit.
wisdom.
Yeah, I'm learning a little bit. Mm. But yeah, no response is. I guess it really is. Sometimes all the response we need to be like, oh, they're not interested. You should
And
really,
sometimes it's hard because your friend, like I'm saying, the movies and books over years have taught us that, like, oh, eventually you'll wear her down, just keep trying, or, oh, he's mean to you. We tell little girls, oh, he's mean to you because he likes you or whatever. It's like, no, sometimes people show you who they are, and it's your job to not to change them, but to believe them, you know?
yeah. But you know, some mothers out there enable that kind of behavior. They allow
They
their
do, they
daughters to
do.
to be mean. Like there's some crazy
And their
broad when I was
sons.
a youngster that she not just pulled my hair, but she threw things at me. Then she just like awkwardly just kissed me right here on the cheek. It was just like, "Ooh, like you just like threw something at me fucking 5 minutes ago." Like
Now,
that
question.
confused the fuck out of me as a young
Would you
kid.
be into that today if a woman threw things at you and pulled your hair and then kissed you? Would you be into that today as an adult?
Pulling the hair, no, because I don't have much left on my head, so I want to keep as much as I have. But the throwing of stuff, that could be because it's like I'm keeping up my cardio and
Yeah.
my eye coordination. It's like I'm seeing something out of the corner of my eyes, like I can dodge it, like pull some
Hmm.
matrix shit. And so I believe that is good just for overall
Total.
health, and keeping that mental acuity to where you're sharp.
Hmm.
Mm. You know, it's really damn. But, have you ever done that? Where you just like, want to throw things just to see if they're paying attention.
No. Have ever wanted to throw things out of frustration because you love someone so much, but they're pissing you off? Yes.
Yes. Interesting. Now, when you're in that moment, before you make the arm
Mm-hmm.
movement, like the Heisman, no, not the Heisman Trophy, but like a football player getting ready to, you know,
Yeah.
toss that pigskin out. What
Toast.
is going through your mind when you throw it? Like after the object is released from your hand, what are you
Mm-hmm.
hoping in that moment or thinking as the object is hurtling towards the man in your
Well, me personally, I don't throw things because I don't want to be that person. However, I
life?
really think about it. I really think about it. What's going through
Have
my
you ever?
head is what's
Mhm.
going through my head is I'm thinking, oh my God, I love you so much. But if you don't shut up right now, I don't know what I'll do. I simply don't know what I'll do. And because I love you so much, I need you to walk away because I might, I won't him because that's not the kind of person I am, but I will hurt myself. I will throw
Mm.
myself out the window. I will open the door and jump out of the car on the interstate if you don't stop talking. That's what goes through my head. I'd rather hurt myself than hurt
Mm.
others personally.
That's admirable. Maybe though, just for safety precautions, if you to throw yourself out the window, make sure you grab them and they take the brunt of the fall. So they break it for you. You're too precious to get broken, Clementine.
I'm a strong woman to my detriment. In my old age, I will have hardcore arthritis. However, I'll have
Mm.
earned it.
I'm sure you would have. But that is wild. You'd rather throw yourself out the window than throw your loved one out. That's admirable. That's admirable. It's I guess let me ask you this. What's the most attractive way someone has approached you?
To be honest, I don't remember someone approaching
Oh?
me in a way that stuck with me because I feel like I was raised growing up, like most of the time, if someone was interested in me, like let's say in school, they would text me and just say, hey, and then we'd have a conversation, and eventually it would drift into something romantic or intimate, and that's how it would go. I don't remember someone truly approaching me, in public in real life in that way. I'm usually the one to approach. And the one time in specific, like in that stands out to me is that like I was at a party and the guy I was into was sitting in a chair and I just saw him. I really liked his hair. And so I sort of it was he was sitting in like a love seat armchair thing, like a couch,
Mhm.
but like one seater. And I just came over and I sat on the arm of the couch. He looked at my ass and we made eye contact and I was like, hey. He was like, hey, I was just like, I like your hair. And he was like, yeah, thanks, I like yours too. And then we introduced ourselves and, you know, I don't even remember what we talked about, but I know I asked for his socials from someone else and I texted him like, hey, I'm so and so from the party. And then we just were texting and that's how it happened. So that's the one time I can remember that I actually approached someone, in real life, that stuck with me. So that's how it goes.
Mm. Interesting. Imagine that. The most attractive way someone has approached you was by not approaching you at all and just checking out your ass, gabbing at the party, and
I
then
mean, I put it there for him to check out. That's how I gave him, I said, "Here's the ball. It's in your court now. Pick it up and
nice.
I don't know,
You're
run with it."
direct.
That's it.
You're direct. You positioned yourself to where you get maximum the maximum view of your gluteus maximus. Nice, nice. That's considerate. That's cool. Hmm. The most attractive way someone has approached me. Since I asked, it's fair that I answer that question as well. The most attractive way someone has approached me. Hmm. It's sad to say, it happened online. It was a long time ago, and I was just minding my business, doing my thing in the chats. That's you probably remember Clementine, how we bumped into each other. But back then,
Exactly.
oh man, like you're able to do something called whispering, and you had to type in that person's username a specific way. I think he had the asterisks on both sides, and then
Yeah.
the comment would pop up in chat for only the other person to read. And
Mhm.
I was oblivious to it at first, but then apparently, like I started catching on. I'm like, whoa, like holy shit, like she like checked out my profile and like all this, like you know what I mean, like basically like oh yeah, seen your profile, think you're cute. Let's talk. And I remember having to learn how to do that so we can do the whole thing in the messages in the public chat before we started, slipping in each other's DMs. So yeah, that was because like she completely caught me off guard, peppered me with compliments, and this is like, this woman's talking to me, showing interest. Mm, yeah. Oh, that was fun. Really made me feel manly. So since I asked you the obvious, the most attractive, let's go to the worst first approach you've dealt with.
Worst first approach. Um,
Hmm.
Worse? Honestly, I can't even think of a worse first approach in person. However, on social media, the worst first approach I is usually a surprise dick pic. That's the worst first approach.
Mm.
Or, someone that's the worst because they'll just surprise send it to you, or they will say hey and I'll
Mm.
say hey and then they're like, are you down to do this? Are you down for that? Just starting off way sexual, just like no context, no preface, just bam, here's a penis. Do you want it? And that's usually, the worst way of being hit on in, worst way to start.
It could be. It could be, but there was I guess you can say, you know, for myself, the worst way, the first approach for me, we alluded to with that woman that, had to have her parents try to talk to me to get them to notice her. It's just like, you know, because the way it happened was I used to take long walks in the morning, and
Mhm.
somehow, some way, I caught her eye. I'm usually just like, listening to my music and I'm zoned out to the world. I know where I'm going. I know how to get back. So apparently I had my music up too loud. I never, heard anything. And it wasn't until the grocery store. Oddly enough, me and her bumped into each other at the grocery store. And she felt the need to approach me and says, I see you walking in the morning. I try to talk to you, but you're such an asshole. You never respond. Why is that? I'm like, you know what, honey? That's Mr. Asshole to you. And that's where I left the conversation. So to me, I guess to make a long story short is that if she would have approached me by calling me Mr. Asshole, that would not have been my worst approach to date. Because if she just would have taken the effort to remember, like, hey, Toots, I'm Mr. Asshole to you. At least, call me by that. But no, she felt the need to go get her mommy and daddy to try to fucking stop me. And it's just like I'm too in the zone. Doing, just got the music on, getting my day started, trying to get the dopamine shit to fire properly in my brain. 'Cause they say, physical activity makes you happy, but I don't know. I like to talk to those scientists. But yeah, that was my worst approach right there because it's so weird. Because I mean, I get it. You meet your significant other other's parents, and you talk and whatnot. But it's like before even the date at my age, like holy shit, Toots, like what is wrong with you? You're like around my age. That'd be like me, like trying to like get my Mima out there. If I could, like, hey, mom, like I like that one. Go talk to her for me, please. Like, fucking like a turn off that would be having a grown ass woman doing her thing, and then somebody's mother coming up and fucking trying to like talk to him, like get there, like my son likes you. Can you talk to him, please? Like, mm, no scruples, you know. It's like I said before, it's like if something like, a disagreement was to happen, like what is she gonna do? Like I'm gonna have to talk to her mom and dad. They're gonna have to break it down for me because she's too afraid to tell me herself. Like holy shit, holy shit. That's that's bad. That's bad right there, ladies and gentlemen. All you ladies out there, let this be some advice. Don't send your parents to try to talk to the fella you like. Just do it yourself. Like if it's like somebody like me, Mr. LC, and I tell you, or they tell you, like it's Mr. Asshole to you, refer to them as that because I guarantee you that it's going to give them a chuckle on the inside. It might be a little bit of a smart ass, but it's gonna open the door for you. It really will. It's getting to that time. We are at the point where, ooh, I believe the audience is so engaged. They have no questions. Let's see. Let's see. Let's give us some
Maybe
advice
they've
from
been lulled to sleep.
perhaps let's give them a little bit of advice.
Okay,
You
let's go.
know,
Let's go.
before
Let's
we
go
end
one
it
for
off.
one. Let's go one for one.
Okay,
I'll start with
okay.
one, and you give one, and we'll go back and forth until we have no more advice. My first advice is to, hmm, I guess my main statement about rejection. Your reaction to the rejections is a lot about you and will say a lot about, like what you're leaving the other person with. If you handle being rejected well and they see that, they will think much higher, of you than if you start storming off, pitching a fit about not getting the person you want. So, really do not internalize rejection. Just take it with grace and, good things will happen.
Some good advice. Always look at, fellas out there, look at a woman's ring finger that they stick their marriage band on. If you see a tan mark, she's taken and she's a bit promiscuous, so you don't wanna go on that ride. Stay off that village bicycle.
Mm, my next advice would be for guys. Start off with a compliment that's not zoned into a specific body part. Because after hearing Caesar's explanation, I feel like maybe I need to say that. Start off with a generalization. Beautiful, lovely. I noticed you, you know, from across the room. And then after a certain amount of time, maybe 10, 15 minutes, then you can sort of tell her about her eyes or even her smile. Then you can get a little bit more specific, not creepy, nothing below the neck, you know,
So
and
keep it neck up.
it's about exactly keep it from the neck up. It's about timing, you know, and knowing where you fit in, like where you can fit in certain things in this conversation. That's my
Hmm,
advice.
interesting. Interesting. Yeah, time is important. I got to take that advice right there. Next time I'm, observing a woman, I'm gonna hit that stopwatch and wait 5 minutes before I go offering a compliment. Give it time. But one, I guess here's another thing that mm, this one's gonna be for the ladies out there. Yeah, I'm gonna give you some advice, ladies. So, mm, here we go. Don't leave guys on. Just tell them no. Plain and simple. Tell them no. It's like Rob that told me no. It's like, thank you. I know where I'm at. I know where I stand. No problem. It's like I learned that day. She's nice, and I just so happen to have such a well distinguished face. You can't forget it.
But that also
It's like,
ties into accepting rejection well. Some women feel like they have to be overly nice and overly cautious in a way that's like, hey, I'm sorry, I don't want to go out with you. Please don't punch me. Please don't kill me. Please don't yell at me. Please don't follow me home. Please don't contact me on my socials to try again. Like, you heard about that one story about that guy. I believe this woman was interviewing for a job, and then she came home, and this guy was like, he either worked at the company or he interviewed her. He was like, hey, I got your contact information from your file. I wanted to know if you wanted to go out. Boundaries
hmm,
crossed. You went to her employee file, potential employee file at that, to get her information to ask you out. You couldn't wait. You couldn't wait until she started. You couldn't, I don't know, wait a little bit, perhaps. It's like things like that. Some men, even and women too, feel so entitled to the person they're infatuated with, they do not accept boundaries. So if you want women to be more straightforward, give them the opportunity, the grace, the respect to decline and reject, and then let that be it. No is a full sentence. If you can leave it at the no without asking why or like internalizing it and insulting them, then we can all live a happy life. And that, I feel like those two tie in together into a
they
perfect
do.
circle.
They
It's a
do.
great way to end
And
this. Great way to end the stream.
well, it's I believe because you do touch on something that men and women share these things, even though we disagree and we say it's like more one than the other. I believe there's one piece of advice that we can give to both, for both men and women together. And that is, you can't love somebody else until you love yourself.
Yes, I agree.
And before we sign off tonight, gets me giddy. I'm excited. I really want to see these comments in the comment section, please, ladies and gentlemen. I got some homework for you. Professor Caesar over here. He's definitely got some homework. Have you ever made the first move, ladies and gentlemen? Out there in the audience, please put in the comments. If you want to share a story, just chime in with a yes or no. we really would appreciate the the reading material. And then
What's
another one
something you
is
hate?
sorry
What's
sorry to
something
cut
you
you
hate
off, but
about? It's okay. Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say the other question is did it turn into a rose or a red flag? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then also whatever comments or questions you have, or just whatever, like, but yeah, that's your homework, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever made the first move and did it turn into a rose or a red flag? But what were you gonna say,
Also,
Clementine? I believe you said some comments,
just one
for
question I have for any comments. Something you
mhm.
hate about gender roles in dating, and
Ooh.
how you feel like it may just ruin it by having these expectations for one partner or the other. How you wish it could be if everyone just did what they wanted and stopped expecting other things.
Well, that's great. That is really great right there, Clementine. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Really immensely appreciate it. Thank you for joining us for, episode 1 of Red Flags and Roses with me, Caesar, and the illustrious Clementine, the Asylum Angel. Mm. And don't forget, after you hit the like and subscribe, and you leave you drop your stories down in the comment, join the Discord.
At your
Take the
own
time to
risk.
go in the description, join the Discord. You won't regret it. We have community nights. We have game nights. We just have, chill nights where we sit there and just talk to each other. It's a great community. We really, the ones that are there right now, we really, appreciate, love, and enjoy the camaraderie that we have. And just so you know, since, like I said, you ladies and gentlemen have homework, we want to not just read your stories if you share them with us. They might be featured on a future episode of Red Flags and Roses.
We'd be happy to dissect your stories and give our own takes.
Oh yeah, exactly. Clementine, thank you for joining us. I immensely appreciate you showing up, having fun.
As you should.
Mm, thank you very much, and I can't wait for next time. And until I see you next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you when I look at you.
It's 12 a.m. and the screen glows blue. Caesar leans back, says hopes for fools. Clementine laughs, scribbles tone. Clementine smile, see you next time. Somewhere